Hi everyone, my name is Rebecca Tinknell and this is my creating project presentation for EDU 709. For this class, during the searching project, I wanted to explore augmented reality a little bit more. In one of my previous classes in this cohort, we did kind of touch the surface of it, but I didn't really have an opportunity to really dig into it. I felt like for this class, this was the perfect opportunity to do some more research on it. I've had some coworkers that have done it in the past, and I found it really neat. Basically, what it is, it's allowing someone to interact with the world around them by unlocking information by scanning a trigger image. So, some examples that you might be more familiar with are like Pokemon Go. As you're going around trying to capture the Pokemon, that would be an example of augmented reality as the character kind of pops out of your screen for you. An example that I use with my class to kind of give them an idea is in Harry Potter, when you are reading the newspaper and the newspaper kind of comes to life as it's telling the story. So I kind of use those two examples to introduce this to my students, and they kind of seem to get a little bit better idea of what the augmented reality is. So the app that I used for this assignment for my creating project was Aurasma. It is super easy to use. The platform looks very familiar to Instagram. So my students didn't have any issues using it since they all use Instagram like crazy. I have a personal Instagram, so I found it to be pretty user-friendly as well. There are a bunch of apps out there, but this is the one that I thought was kind of the most convenient and user-friendly. So when I've had people explain augmented reality to me before, and I didn't really fully understand until I actually started creating it in this class. So for those of you that are watching the presentation, if you've never used Aurasma or you're just not really certain what it is, I really encourage you to download this app and follow along with my presentation. That way you can actually see these auras and scan them yourself. So if you just go to your app store on your Android or on your iPhone, download the Aurasma app. You have to create an account, but it's free. What you do have to use, or do have to do, is follow my page. And that was kind of a trial and error as I was doing this with my students this year. I wasn't quite aware of that at first. And so when they were scanning the trigger images, nothing was popping up. But in your search bar, once you're on the home screen, you want to search my username, rtinknell, and up will pop this. So this is what my home page looks like. As you can see, it does look very similar to Instagram. But you do have to follow me in order to kind of play along with this presentation. So if that's something that you'd be interested in doing, I would pause this video, download the app, it's free, follow me so that you can kind of get an idea of what's going on. So in this lesson, I had my students create review videos so that I could embed them and create these auras for their unit review. Again, it's just like the Harry Potter newspapers and how as they were going through their study guide, if they were unsure of a certain topic, they could scan different trigger images and up would pop a video explaining the topic or working a problem out for them, et cetera, et cetera. So my students got into pairs, used their phones to record videos. I kept them between about no more than 2 minutes long. I co-teach geometry, and I found that this was very helpful, and a lot of my students gave good positive feedback. As they were studying for tests, if they forgot how to do a certain topic, up popped a video that their peer had made. This unit dealt with our construction. So they were using a compass and a straight edge to create different geometric properties, like a perpendicular bisector or an angle bisector. And often students will kind of blank out on those steps of what to do. So I thought this was a perfect solution. So they worked in pairs, they created their videos. I had the students upload the videos to Google Classroom so that I could get them to create the auras using the Aurasma app. And the trigger images came from the student study guide so all students had access to them. So once they filmed their videos, they just uploaded them to my Google Classroom that I have. So here's like my 5th hour geometry. That way I was able to just get this video pretty easily, download it, check it, make sure that it was appropriate. In their study guide, this is something that I gave them. So these were all the different trigger images. So each group was assigned one of these topics. They had to create about a 60-minute video recapping it. For the constructions, they actually had to demonstrate how to do the construction, etc., etc. So I was able to do that for my 3 geometry classes, and I just picked the best ones. So, 6th hour might have had some 4th hour students' videos, but it all worked out. So creating an aura is super, super easy. You can either use the Erasma app on your phone, or what I had to do in this case, since they posted their videos to Google Classroom, was to go to the website erasma.com. And I have that here for us. And this is what it looks like. You have to log in with your same username, so whatever you use on the app works for the website as well. So you're going to go over here and you would click Create a New Aura. Uploading a trigger image, so this is the image that they would scan so that then the video would pop up. So the trigger images, again, that I used all came from their study guide, and so that all the students had the same trigger images, so that wasn't an issue. So I already have this kind of set up, so I just click that. I'm going to browse. I've downloaded this picture to my desktop, so I can just click that. Hit save. It uploads here pretty quickly. It'll let you know whether the image is a good trigger image or not. So this one says that it might not be all that great, but it worked just fine. So I just kind of ignored that message. Once you have the trigger image, I hit next to upload an overlay. So this is where I would pick the students' videos. So these students did a really nice job on theirs. Their job was to show how to construct the circumcenter. So I would hit save, and here it's going to start uploading this video. Depending on the size of the video, so I had some students that created videos that were over 2 minutes, and that was actually too large, and so I couldn't use that overlay. So again, it was a lot of trial and error this year. This was the first time I was doing it, as it always is when you're introducing a new type of technology to your class. Well, again, like I said, I got a lot of positive feedback. Students had a really fun time creating the videos. I think they were a little camera shy at first, but it ended up working out really, really well. And uploading it to Google Classroom, there were no issues there. It was a really fun class period for them to kind of do that. Not to mention the videos do a great job of, as an instructor, I can tell whether they understand the content or not, as they have to basically teach it to their partner in video form. It really gives them the opportunity to decide whether or not, they know exactly what is going on. So here we have the overlay is positioned, so you can kind of get an idea of what this is going to look like when you scan the trigger image. So the video with the ruler and the compass that you can kind of see as an overlay right now is the video that my students created. So you're going to hit next here and make sure, so you can name it here, so I can name this, oops, I'll label it circumcenter number 2 because I already had one there. I hit save. And it was upload, so I just hit close. So here is basically like my homepage. You can see I've done this one a couple of times. I'm a volleyball coach, so I made one for my volleyball team. But here are all the different trigger images that were on their study guide. So they all have access to these same trigger images. So if you followed along, you download the app, here would be your opportunity. You can pull up the app and scan this trigger image. For those of you that did not do that, totally understand, but this is kind of gives you an idea over here of what it looks like. So in their study guide, they would scan that trigger image, and up pops on their phone, like pops out of them, the video that the students made. So if they couldn't remember how to do that certain construction, they could scan it, and there's their peer explaining everything to them. So my students had a really great time doing this. I thought it was really neat. There's other video editing apps they can use. Clips, C-L-I-P-S, is a new app that comes with the new iPhone upgrade. It allows them to add different filters. Stickers is basically a Snapchat video, if you're familiar with that, to kind of let their creativity come out with their videoing. Um, Other ideas that I could think of for Erasmus that I plan on using in the future. I'm part of the freshman orientation group at my high school. So I thought it'd be really neat if, as the freshmen are taking their tour on the high school before school starts, if each teacher would put a picture of themselves out there with a little video that the students could scan so they could actually meet their teacher before the first day. We've done that in the past with QR codes, but it takes a while to upload the video with that. With Erasmus, within 5 seconds, the overlay is popping out. So I thought that would be really cool. I've had other teacher friends, mainly in the lower elementary levels, do like book reports that way. So any of the books that are in their classroom, students have created reports or reviews, or basically give a little synopsis of what the books are about. So the cover of the book could be the trigger image. Students could scan it, and then up would pop, a review so they could see what the book is about. Another example that I've used was for my study guide. I had some students work out the solution to certain problems. So if a student doesn't get it right, they could watch the video that way. I've thought about, absent students, if they need to see my notes, I could create auras for my notes of the problems that I worked out in class. It's always easier if things are explained to them. And lastly, like different scavenger hunts around the room. I've done that before with stations. You solve one problem, your answer takes you to the next. But just incorporating some technology with that and creating auras with those. So anyway, it was a really great experience. I plan on using Erasmus more in my class. Pretty much every day I'm thinking of new ways to incorporate it. But again, the students had fun with the creativity, and it was a great opportunity for me to see whether or not they were understanding the concepts. So that is what I did for my creating project. If you have any questions, let me know. I hope some of you are a little motivated to use this app now.